so high. If you don't know how to fly, aim for leisure to make you fly. Sky is so high. If you don't know how to fly, aim for leisure to make you fly. Here we go. Here we go.
Can you guys see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So let's just stick to that page. If I'm not mistaken, you all are done till, I think, page number 10. Till passenger care responsibility, right? Okay, this is better, right? This is done.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to start with the key factors that you need for the training. So can anybody tell me what do you think would be necessary to become cabin crew or ticketing, basically in aviation industry? Anybody?
Good communication skills.
Good communication skills, definitely. Anything else?
Grooming, personality,
Perfect. Very good.
Personality.
Positive attitude.
Positive attitude, perfect. What else?
adaptability, patience,
Adaptability, very good.
Patience.
Definitely. Very good. Patience, most
Helpful.
important. Helpful, very good. Caring,
On time.
on time performance, yes. OTP, very, very important.
calmness,
Calmness, yes. Patience,
Efficiency.
efficiency, yes, of course.
Loyalty.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, yes. Loyalty to the company, yes. Your company will definitely be happy if you stick around and don't go to another airline because they put in a lot of
Yes.
money to train you all. So, yes. And what else?
Listening.
Okay, fine. What you said is actually covers most of it. But let's just go step by step here as well. Interaction with people. Very important. As I've already told you guys, you will be meeting more than 300 people on a daily basis. Even if it's a small aircraft, suppose it's a 737, you will still have 150 passengers one way. So if you are doing a return flight, you have 300 people right there. So you will have to interact with them. You will start with interacting with the person who comes to pick you up in the car, right? You'll have to interact with the driver. After the driver, you'll go to base, your base people, then your colleagues. You'll have a very nice introduction before every flight where they will be asking you questions, safety first aid related, and some questions would be relating to situations that happen in flight and how you will deal. That way, your team leader or your cabin supervisor, that person can gauge, how you will react in flight. So interaction is going to be, it's the base of everything. How to dress up. Come on, somebody tell me some things that we've discussed about how to dress up.
Proper iron clothes.
Very good. What about Ulka?
Deo, regular.
Thank you, Supriya. Most important. Very good. And Ulka, can you tell us something? Okay, I guess Ulka can't. Anybody else?
Formal clothes.
Yes, uniform so they will give you. You will have to just make sure your uniform is ironed very well. When you go
to look attractive,
attractive. What do you mean by attractive? Every one of you are attractive.
Clean shave.
Like I told you. Clean.
Well groomed.
Well groomed. So when you say well groomed, what do you mean by that?
Should not stink.
Definitely. Most important. What else?
Setting up hair, like for guys, shaving regularly, for girls, makeup perfect.
Very good. Now
Look
tell me,
fresh.
girls. Girls, how many of you all have put eyeliners today? For class?
Ma'am, definitely we are sitting in our house clothes.
Yes. I'm also in my house. I still put my eyeliner, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
But
how
no
many of y'all
eyeliner
have
are
groomed
there.
yourself for the lecture? I just want to know who has.
Ma'am, not me today.
Not.
Same here.
Okay, I like the honesty. I like the honesty. But it would be nice
one.
if you guys do. Okay, get into a habit.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, because if if you are continuing online lectures, I might have to tell you guys to show your faces to me so that we can interact one-on-one if I'm giving situations. I can't do situations by looking at an icon. Okay, so please, I'm not saying do full makeup or have clean shave every day, but just set your hair right, guys. Girls, just maybe a lipstick at least, no eyeshadow. I'm not expecting that, but just tie a ponytail, maybe a little eyeliner, kajal, whatever you're comfortable with, but basic. Okay, grooming is important.
Today also.
Okay, ma'am.
No, not today is fine because we've already started. That's okay. We won't do situations today. We will do it next time. So be prepared for that. That's all. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. What can you guys tell me about teamwork? Is it important?
Yes, of course.
Okay. How many of y'all have had any job prior? I'm assuming a few at least.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so forget aviation. Even whatever job you guys were doing earlier, you all needed teamwork even there. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yes,
Yes.
right, ma'am.
So any one of you can give me an instance where you have shown how good you are as a team player. Any instance, have you helped a colleague? Anything.
Yes, ma'am. So, like my previous experience into BPO sector, I was a call center executive.
Yeah.
So there are few of calls where the customers are irritated and the agent is not able to handle that call. So sometimes that I'll go and take over the call and try to calm the customer and try to help them out with their problems and all.
Very
So
good. Are you good at
yeah.
that?
Yeah, like little bit. If I know the product, then I'll be try to good in that. So first of all, I have to understand the product. Then only I can explain it to the customer.
Right. Okay, so you helped your colleagues by handling customers who were basically irritated.
Yes, right, ma'am.
Very good. Anybody else has any thing to share? Any instance to share? Okay, fair enough.
Ma'am, I can.
Okay, yes. Lavani, please.
Yeah, I had done my training, so that time trainers were not allowed to serve, and of course, if we do any mistake, then that comes on our seniors. But then some of my seniors had allowed me to serve, so I worked in the coffee shop. So
Okay.
serving coffee, my senior used to be busy in billing and taking orders. So I used to take orders from him, and I used to serve. So I've done that teamwork, even helping out the hostesses.
That is so good. So it shows that you're a team player. Now, why I asked you this question, apart from the fact that this is a very well-loved question for interviews in aviation industry, I'll tell you why. Because what happens is teamwork. We hear this word on a very regular basis and we take it for granted, teamwork, hota hai, chalta hai. But when you're in flight, or not just in flight, even if you're on ground, your resources are very limited. Okay? There, the only thing that will help you the most is your colleague. And it goes the other way around. The only thing that your colleague will look up to for help is you. So if your team spirit is good, you can really get out of some sticky conditions and situations. Okay, I'll give you an example. I think it was a Bombay Delhi flight. Okay, I was working in economy. I was head of economy. Now just see how things can go wrong. In Jet Airways, we used to have something called as a mailbox. So it was a container, collapsible container, okay, in which we used to put all the meals, veg, non-veg together in one meal. So every cart, according to our passenger load, we had 3 carts, okay, it was a full load. Bombay, Delhi, let me give you a brief about it. It was one of the most difficult flights to do, okay, because your passenger profile was all elite. Demands from the time they enter the aircraft till they deplane. So there are convents continuously, and you have to manage your service, meal service. Now what happens is the person who was the galley in charge was very new, okay, and the other girl was junior than him as well. So on ground, I had to handle all the passengers and help him in the galley. I did my best, okay. There's something called as galley handover. You guys are aware what that means? Galley handover?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, I will tell you. So the meals, right? Your catering staff will come before every flight, okay? And they will give you all the meals for the flight. They have a list of how many requested vegetarians are there, how many requested non-vegetarians are there. If somebody has asked for maybe a low-calorie meal, a diabetic meal, Jain meal, kosher meal, they give you a list of this, okay? So all the mandatory meals are there. Over and above, they will also obviously give you extra meals for the people who've not booked anything. So they give you a handover. Now they will come, they will tell you, okay, this is how many meals were requested. These are the extra meals. This is where your tea and coffee pots are. This is where, you know, your those meal boxes are. Where your sugar, whatever is required for the flight is in the galley. They give you a handover of that. You sign a paper saying, okay, I have checked everything and I've taken the handover. The moment you, as a galley operator, have signed that document, it means that you have everything that you need in the galley. Now, we take off. Fair enough? We are released from we release our seat belts. The seat belt sign goes off. And I tell my galley operator that there are some call bells. I'm going and checking those. By the time I come, please start preparing your meal boxes. Okay? And keep the tea coffee prepared. We will have to start service in 7 minutes. I go. I've gone, checked on my passengers, and I've come back. This guy is just standing with tears in his eyes. Then I looked at him and I'm like, what happened? Okay, because he's a grown boy, he's crying. I was like, what happened? And this other girl also looks very stressed. I said, what happened, guys? You need to tell me. Now, this guy had signed the handover sheet without checking anything in the cabin, in the galley, sorry. So we didn't have meal boxes. Instead of 3 meal boxes for 3 carts, I had only 1 meal box. Instead of 3 sets of tea coffee kettles, I had only 1 pair of tea coffee kettle. And it's a full load. I have only 45 minutes to do the entire service. He is crying because he's like, it's my, 3rd time only being a galley in charge. There was so much happening. I didn't have time. I just signed without checking. So I had no option. I had to call the cabin supervisor. I called her. I informed her. She left everything in the business class. She came behind, started shouting at him, started shouting at me. Okay? To which I told her, whatever her name was, said, ma'am, it's done. Let's see what we can do, because from 45 minutes, now I have only 35 minutes left. So we need to first focus on what has to be done. So I told her, let's talk about this later. I just wanted to inform you about what was happening. Let me see what we can do. What can you do in such a situation? There isn't much, right? But you have to find a way. So I asked one of the girls, I told her, I will do your cart. Can you do tea coffee to the entire aircraft with the teapots? She said, yes, definitely. Sorry, guys. So I said, definitely, ma'am, I can do that. I said, fair enough. One problem is solved. I went to the boy. I told, please take 2 minutes. Go wash your face. Okay? Just be ready to start the service and start the service fast. I said, okay, fair enough. When you start flying, guys, you all will come to know the first half of the aircraft is usually where your platinum card holders will be there, like your frequent flyers, okay? They get the front row seats, usually. So I said, because all the important ones will be in front, let the meal box go over there, at least because they know what the procedures are better than the crew. That is done. Now what to do for the others? So in the olden days, people before the meal boxes, we used to keep the meals on the cart. Alright guys? So I told the guy, we will do the procedure that we used to. Just make sure that your customers are happy. The passengers in flight should be happy. And I must give it to that guy. He put his heart and soul in it. I think he knew that he did mess up a little. So for everything else, he put his heart and soul, and it was one of the best flights I ever had. Let me tell you guys. Because that guy worked so hard, the girl worked so hard. I did not get even one complaint, and not getting a complaint on a Delhi flight was a big thing. Let me tell you that. So it went so smooth. In the end, we used to have something called as a debriefing, okay? Where the lady, the supervisor, started the debriefing, okay? And said, yeah, we didn't have any complaints, you managed to do the service, but this is not right, that was not right, this went bad, that went bad, She was just telling us where we went wrong. So I told her, I said, ma'am, in all fairness, though mistakes were made, the end result is that the passengers were happy. We had no complaint, we worked as a team, okay? And my supervisor was kind enough to send one crew from business class as well to help us, because she knew that we would be running around like crazy. So I thanked her for sending an extra helping hand. I said, because of just simple things, just thinking about your own team members, thinking that, okay, they might be struggling, let me send some more help behind. Telling the captain that probably we will need some extra time. These small things made a lot of difference on one flight for us. Even though a lot of mistakes were made, we actually ended up having a lot of fun on that flight. Okay, because the team was good. Do you understand what I'm trying to explain?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you will face a lot of hurdles. Even ticketing, let me tell you, okay? So guys, when whoever is interested in ground services, you will be having passengers who have missed the flight. It's their fault completely, but they will come and they will tell you, "Arey, but तुमने plane को जाने कैसे दिया?" And they will be yelling at the top. I have seen with my own eyes people yelling at the top of their lungs, even though the fault is theirs. Okay, and then I've also seen how other ground staff will come and they will help this person, who's getting yelled at. They will calm that person down, because now this person is already angry with you. Whether it is your fault or it's not your fault, you are getting yelled at. Okay? And if you try and argue, they're going to get more angry. So instead, other people come and they try to, diffuse the situation. This is how we help each other. For that, teamwork will be super, super important, guys. Basic computer knowledge. I'm pretty sure you guys have that. I think half of y'all are better than me. When it comes to ground staff, you will definitely be trained, because every airline will have a very different operating system. Okay, so you all will be taught how to do that. When it comes to airline flying, not much you need to know. You all will just have to download a couple of apps. Things have changed over the years. Now everything is on the mobile, not much on the computer. Okay, how to check your roster. Then you will have circulars, how to check your circulars. Everything is in an app now. All you guys have to do is download the apps, nothing else. So that should be perfectly fine. But if you have basic knowledge, it will help. Nothing more than that. Okay, what else? Grooming and etiquette training. I think we do know that it's super, super important, right?
Yes.
Yes. Just one second. I think this thing is stuck. Let me just figure out why. Okay, you all can see it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So we'll start here. Your grooming
Yes,
and
ma'am.
etiquette training. Alright, that is something that we've done, right? We have done grooming. Etiquette comes along with it. It's just how you behave, basically. And I think we've got. I think if I start talking about this, you all are going to catch hold of me and hit me the next time you'll see me. So I won't bore you with this. About your communication and accent training. I've been trying to help you guys with this as well. Communication is very important, not only with your customers, passengers, whatever you want to call them, but even with your colleagues, okay? In flight, you guys remember the game we played called Chinese Whispers? At least those who were in class.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Right.
yes, ma'am.
Right. So that was basically to tell you how things can, be misunderstood or how miscommunication happens. In flight, if you go and tell the captain that, okay, there is somebody who's maybe who's suffering from a heart attack, and he hears something else, and he tells the ground handling key, okay, somebody's dead, right? So they will not probably keep those like your AED, and we have ambulances at the airport which are special for cardiac arrests, right? So they won't keep those ready because they will think, okay, the person is no more. So they will just keep a basic one doctor to come check and go, right? So probably someone you could save now will definitely be dead. So these are small miscommunications that happen, okay? Most common. Supervisor comes and tells one crew, okay? Passenger on 3 Charlie wants to probably wants to change his meal choice. You go from veg to non-veg. You go and tell your crew the passenger on 5 Charlie now wants to eat some other meal, and you give the wrong meal to somebody else. This is the most common thing that happens, okay? Because by the time from one cabin you reach to the other, you've forgotten what the seat number is. And then we don't want to cross-check. We don't want to call the person and say, ma'am, what was the seat number? Was it 3 Charlie, 5 Charlie? We don't feel like doing that. We just want to assume and go ahead. And then a lot of problems happen. Because there's no clear communication. So it has to be a two-way communication, not one person talking. Both have to talk and both have to cross-check. You have a doubt, please ask. Okay? Whether it is in flight, in training, wherever. Any questions, ask. Better to ask rather than making a mistake. Alright? And you guys all need to learn how to communicate better. Okay? Is Sajid there today?
Yes, ma'am.
Sajid, today you're going to be talking a little about your favorite aircraft, okay? End of the lecture.
Okay, ma'am.
Perfect. Very good. Choose your aircraft, alright? Personal attributes. I think you guys covered this. You need to have a lot of patience, positive personality, positive attitude. You need to be polite as well, right? These are important things. Why do you think it's important to have patience?
Because we should not get panicked in difficult situations.
Very good. You mean if there is a medical emergency?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Very good. What else? Anything else?
It will help us handle difficult situations.
Very, very good. And you guys do know you all will have a lot of difficult situations, whether it is on ground or in air. Difficult situations will be there every flight. You are going to face them, whether it is something like a medical emergency, it could be something related to meals, it could be something as simple as you dropping something on somebody. But people can really escalate a tiny thing and make it into something big, right? Here, what will help? You being patient, you listening to your passenger, okay? You have to have the ability to be able to keep quiet and listen. Empathize with the person, okay? Apart from that, common sense, guys. How important is common sense?
We should have knowledge about small things.
Very good, definitely. And probably you have... Yes, tell me.
Our reflexes should be nice at that
Reflexes
situation.
should be good. That's very, very good. What else? Anything else?
There might be situations which we are not thought of. Like there are different kind of passengers and there are different kind of behaviors. So
Right.
we should be able to handle those.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was getting at. No two people are the same, right? In our class itself, we have some people who love to talk, we have some people who don't like to talk. Some people are shy, some people are so outgoing. Everybody is different, right? So you can imagine the number of people you will be meeting. Everybody is going to be different. You will be given guidelines. We will be doing situations, right? You'll go in the aircraft and then something, suppose you dropped something on somebody. You'll be like, okay, wait, I remember. Okay, so Drishti had told me if I drop something, this is what I'm supposed to say. You go say the same thing and that person gets more angry. Possible, very possible, because I have shared my experience with you, right? So that person who I dropped the wine on reacted in a certain way. Not necessarily the person you dropped the wine on will react the same way. So you need to have that much common sense, gauge the situation, see how the person is reacting, and automatically change your tune. Maybe some people need to be given that stern voice, and some people need to be spoken very sweetly. So you have to have that sense, of how to deal with situations. Okay, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Else.
Yes.
Okay, this is stuck again. My goodness. I think I will share from my iPad and not the phone, guys, because that is getting disconnected again and again. Hospitality training. So your hospitality training is exactly what we guys are doing, right? You have to be friendly, you have to be enthusiastic about what you do, definitely. And customer service, guys, very, very important. For us, if there are no customers, they don't need cabin crew, right? Our customer is our king. They are always right. This is the basis of everything that will be taught, okay? How to handle. Even if you know in your heart that, okay, whatever the customer is saying is, it's completely wrong. Can you tell that person that, hey, you have no idea?
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Your voice is not clear, actually.
It's not clear now. It hasn't been clear the whole time.
No, now.
Now, man.
Ma'am, now.
Okay. All right. Because I think now it's not sharing from the iPad itself. Okay. This is complicated.
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, in personal attributes, you said that patience is very important.
Right.
And what about the smile, ma'am? Because
Smile?
we all have problems in our homes.
Of
Sometimes,
course. Right.
if we have problems in our home and we are in a situation, in a hectic situation, we have been locked in a crucial hour.
Right.
Do you have any experience on that? What was your mental state?
Lot of experience. One second, let me just put this audio off. I will share my experience. Let me just try and share this once again.
Because in that situation, we want some mental stability, right?
Of course. Yes, definitely. Now see, what happens is we all have our own things going on, okay? And this happens on a very regular basis with all of us, not just one person or something. But what happens is, you probably had a fight with your own mom, dad, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, best friend. All these things happen. Not just fight. Sometimes you have other things to stress about, financial issues. It could be anything, right? But the basis of this job is the moment you put your uniform on, you have to learn to forget these things. Because if you stand in front of people and you're going to be sulking, you will only get complaints. And trust me, you don't want that. This is something that you have to train yourself. You have to be mentally strong. You have to tell yourself that, you know what, this is the job that I have asked for. Okay, I have gotten into customer service, right? Nobody's forced you to take this job. This is your bread and butter. You cannot forget that. This is how you get your salary. So the moment you put your uniform on, everything else should just not matter. At that point, it's you and your job. Okay? I can see, for me, I can tell you a lot of things. Okay? But when it comes to actually do it, it's not very difficult. I have had, personal issues, and I've still gone and had to smile for like 18 hours at a stretch. You have to talk to people as if nothing has happened. It comes with the job. You have to be strong mentally yourself. And what happens is, I'll tell you one more thing. You might have 10 things going on in your head. But once you look at people, right, and other people are smiling, sometimes it's even contagious. A smile can be contagious. When people are smiling, talking, this, that, sometimes it helps. Okay? Looking at people, you will feel like smiling. And you'll have so much work to do that for those 10 hours, you're going to forget whatever is happening at home. You know? You're going to start thinking, okay, what is the next thing that I have to do? Okay, now people are coming in, I have to do boarding, now the service will start. You don't have time. In flight, there's no time to think. The same thing on ground. The moment you sit for ground staff, I've seen this. Boarding, they feel like sitting down for 2 minutes. That time only some passenger will come, hey, where is this gate? What is this? What is that? They will start. So you don't have time also to think. You can't sit and wonder, oh, घर पे क्या हो रहा है? You don't get it. And if you are somebody who is extremely sensitive, okay, you will have to train yourself. You will have to tell yourself that, you know what, I can't do this in front of people. There are going to be too many people looking at me, judging me for everything. How you walk, how you talk, whether you're smiling or not. And as I've mentioned before, people love to complain. If you're standing, daydreaming, you have, you don't have a smile on your face, you're frowning, people make a note of that. And then they complain that crew on this flight was not smiling. I've seen these complaints. So, and I'm not making it up. People really complain. There was no smile. The crew was just standing, not doing anything. Didn't help with my bag. Didn't do this. I've seen all these written complaints like that. So you have to be mentally strong for that. Only you can help yourself when it comes to that particular thing. Okay. Front office management. This basically just means that you need to know how to talk to people and handle situations. You will not just learn one particular thing. Okay, not just cabin crew. You will be taught how to handle a lot of different things. So tomorrow, even if you say, I don't want to become a cabin crew, I want to become, I want to get into ticketing, or maybe I want to sit in the front desk of an airline. Not even an airline. Maybe I want to work for GVK, that is your airport authorities. You can do that with this course. Even that is possible, because all the training that you've been given and you will be given in the coming days, everything cumulative will help you for everything in the service industry. Alright? In-flight catering. Okay. So this is another category itself. What happens is, when you are, you're in flight and you have your services. Firstly, every airline has different service methods. Okay. Once you join an airline, they will tell you how their services are done, or in fact, what services they have for what time period of flight. Okay. What I can tell you is a very brief thing that could probably happen in most of the airlines. Okay. Now, what happens is, you have limited vegetarians, non-vegetarians, Pepsi, whatever, aerated beverages, alcohol. In flight, when you're 36,000 feet up, you can't make no chicken curry. You don't have chicken. You can you be like, अरे Pepsi खत्म हो गया, जरा जा बाहर जाकर लेकर आ. You can't do that. You're in flight. So you have whatever resources you have. You have to know how to handle your resources. That is very, very important, and that is what will be taught to you. Okay, your responsibilities and how to manage with what you have. So in-flight catering will help you with that. Then comes your aviation codes. There are lots and lots of aviation codes. Okay, but trust me, it's not difficult to understand. Alphabetical codes are one of the most commonly used codes. This is for ATC, very, very important. If you want to do ticketing, even then very important, and for cabin crew as well. Cockpit crew, definitely. So because what happens is, once you get into this job, right, we don't say ABC anymore. We say Alpha Bravo Charlie till Zul, till Z. Okay, you all will be taught as we go ahead. You all will be given all the codes, so you don't have to worry about that. And the more you use it, you don't don't have, it'll come naturally after some time. Because once you get into the job, I'll give you an example. To know which aircraft you want to get into, the ground staff will come and they will, how a car has a number, right? MX04, blah, 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 whatever. Every aircraft also has a registration number. It could be, suppose EF. The registration code is EF. Ground staff won't come and tell the crew, okay, you have to go to EF. They will say Echo Foxtrot. So there you can't be like, Echo Foxtrot, what is that? No, you can't do that. You need to know, okay, Echo Foxtrot is ENF. So you have to go to aircraft EF. It's that way. Even if you hear captains someday talk to ATC, they also talk in this lingo. Now why do they do that? I am an Indian, probably talking to somebody who's from Africa or somebody who's from US, right? My accent, that person's accent is so different. I might be saying D and that person must be hearing E. Happens, right? Even when we are talking amongst each other, we make that mistake. So that there's no mistake in communication, they give you the whole word. If I say echo, can you make a mistake? It has to be E, right? Because that's the code for echo. Are you all understanding the importance of the code?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't we make these mistakes? When we're talking, we hear something, we think something, especially when Vodafone calls you. This has always happened with me. आपका नाम क्या है? दृष्टि. अच्छा, spelling क्या है? I will be saying D, R, I and they will start with, अच्छा, H क्या है? S क्या है? And I have to be like, नहीं, एक second, रुको, D for Delhi. ऐसा ही होता है. Especially with my surname. वो, it's Vora, they make it Vora, and I don't know what happens with my surname. But yeah. So every time I talk to Vodafone, it's always V for victory, you know? That way it becomes clear. I'm sure even you all must have gone through this at least once in your life.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Then comes your first state. My most favorite training, first state. So you guys do know when we enter the aircraft, our main duty is not service. Service is last. Our most important is safety. And your first aid comes hand in hand with safety. There can be no safety without first aid. Alright? And I'll personal experience. Safety issues such as evacuation happen very rarely. Very rarely, maybe 1 in 5 years. And if you're lucky, it will never happen. Now, my mom just retired 36 years. No, touch wood, in her entire career, she never had any issue regarding safety. Okay? No slide deployment, no crash landing, nothing. So people go on with their careers without safety issues. But if you ask for medical, every second flight will have a medical emergency. Okay? Sometimes it could just be severe loose motions, which is something that you can handle. And if it's an unfortunate incident, it could lead to probably you having to give CPR to the person, right? But these things happen, especially if it's a long flight and there are elders. It happens if it's a 18-hour flight, okay? Sometimes somebody's sugar levels drop, which is the most common thing. People faint. The number of people who faint on flights, it's crazy, but it happens because people don't eat, they don't hydrate themselves. So the sugar levels in the body drop and then they collapse. These things happen. So for that, you need to have a very strong hold on your first aid training. No matter which company, which airline you join in the world, not just India, even if you go for an international airline, you cannot become a cabin crew until and unless you pass your first aid. It is that important because you will be saving somebody's life. And if you do something wrong, you probably will be killing somebody. You need to know what medication you have to give for what ailment. And these things you need to know at the tip of your tongue. You just need, you can't say, अरे पर मैं डॉक्टर बनने थोड़ी ना आया हूँ या बनने आई हूँ. You can't say these things because in that aircraft, you are the judge, You are the doctor, you are somebody's mother, father, sister, you have to play every role. You don't have a choice. You have to play each and every role, okay? So firstly, whenever it's being done, make sure you give your heart and soul to it. If you're not, I'll give you an instance, alright? So I had this client and our senior, he came almost 30 minutes late. He was not there for the briefing. Since I was the next senior, I took the pre-flight briefing and we went to the aircraft. We were told that he will come. In case he doesn't come, then we have to go without him. And I'll have to hit the flight. So he came, he reached the aircraft in time, thankfully. So I asked him, what happened? Why were you so late? So what he told me was, he was ready. In fact, he was ready much before time. I know him on a personal level. He was one of those seniors who used to be at the base 45 minutes prior to our briefing time. Okay, because he wanted to keep everything ready, all the paperwork done, where we just had to come and sign. He was very systematic. So I told him, like, how come you were late? I mean, you are known for your punctuality. So what he told me was, he was leaving his house, his car was down, he was just leaving, when he heard a lot of commotion. His neighbor, there was a lady who was 72 or something, I don't remember her age, but elderly lady. She collapsed. No pulse, no breathing. And he was giving her CPR for 20 minutes. And because of the CPR that he gave his neighbor, she got a pulse. By the time the ambulance came and then they hooked her up on all the machines and everything, and she survived. But that time period between her collapse and the ambulance coming, had he not given the CPR, that neighbor wouldn't be alive. So these are some things that you learn for your job, but you can use it even in your life, on a daily basis. You see somebody collapse, and imagine that feeling that you saved somebody's life. Somebody today is alive because of you. That is an amazing, amazing feeling. And not just that, I had I think an 8 or 9-year-old child on my aircraft who got an epileptic fit. Do you guys know what that means? Epilepsy? Fits?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I think Hindi mein mirgi, I think it's called mirgi. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah?
I mean, in English it's fits, right?
Yeah, it's epilepsy, fits, however you want to say it. He was such a small child, guys, and people were boarding and he just got his epileptic attack in the middle of the boarding, Fortunately, I have had experience at my in my house with epilepsy, so I could manage that situation really well. The entire flight, his mom kept coming to me and holding my hand and telling me, how grateful she is, because she had another child with her. And no, husband was not traveling, so it was just her and the group. She could not stop thanking me. She took my name, she took my phone number, and she messaged me the next day, please give me your address. I want to send something, some sweets, because you helped me. It was a long flight. So, and I'm still in touch with that lady. Can you guys believe that? I am still in touch with her. We are very good friends now. So it's like that. You can actually have an impact on somebody's life. It's a beautiful feeling that you can touch somebody in such a way that they remember you for the rest of their lives, after meeting for one time. So you guys will, I hope, experience some positive things like this once you all start flying or you're on ground. Then we come to in-flight service manager. So here I'm just going to discuss about the seniority, how it goes, okay? So whatever is explained over here, you guys can read it on your own. But this is a very basic thing. I'll tell you in my experience what this has been, okay? When you join nowadays, okay, it's called online crew. You will work as an online crew, that means you're junior. You will be the junior most. As time goes by, that's usually, say 1 year, that should be 1,000 hours. In India, the rule is that you can fly only for 1,000 hours in 365 days. Okay? This is your flying time, not duty time. So what happens is, after you're done with 1,000 hours in India, you can become SCC, Senior Cabin Crew. that does not mean that you become a supervisor. It just means that in case something happens to the supervisor on that aircraft, you are trained to take over her place. Okay? Or suppose you're in flight, right? And your supervisor, your cabin supervisor, CS, is not feeling well now. Okay? She or he can't manage the duties. Who will the captain appoint? Will appoint the SCC. That is the senior cabin crew, who has put in that many hours and given that much experience that they can handle the situation. Alright? So that's your SCC. So your online crew, after online you become SCC. After that comes your cabin supervisor, post which is cabin manager. Most of the airlines, cabin supervisor is called cabin supervisor, but your cabin manager can become CSD. So it's your cabin service director. It can become cabin service manager. These are different terms used for the same thing basically. Alright. So this is how your hierarchy goes. On an average, I would say SCC, at least in India, is 1,000 hours. Post which it is sorry, wait 1 second. I'll have to learn that again. Okay. Post which what happens is that every company, it depends on whether they need that many cabin supervisors at that time or not. The moment the vacancy comes, they will inform all the seniors, okay, you are eligible to become cabin supervisor, you can apply if you want to. Then you will have an interview for the same, where they will give you situations and how you've handled, talk about what your experience that you've had, and if you pass that interview, then you become a cabin supervisor, and the same thing goes ahead. Okay guys, just give me a minute, I'll try and log in once again. So any confusions regarding the hierarchy? Anybody?
No, ma'am.
No? Good. Okay, so I hope you all aim to become cabin supervisors and CSDs and CSMs soon.
Yes, ma'am.
So you guys, okay, this is another motivation to become a cabin supervisor and stay with the company for a longer time is the salary. Obviously. You definitely cannot assume that the online crew and the cabin supervisor have the same salary, right? There is a steep change in your hourly payments, not just hourly, even your basic salary changes. So tomorrow if you want to take a loan or probably invest something, right? When the banks ask you, they check your basic salary. So your loan and everything will also be given according to that. The moment you become a CSD or a CS, your basic salary increases to a great extent. Okay? And your gratuity and everything depends on your basic salary. So if you have the opportunity to become a cabin supervisor someday, please take it up. Okay? And apart from the salary, the fact that the boss of the aircraft, it feels good. It's a very, very nice feeling, okay? After being an online crew for a long time, when you get to boss around all the junior crew, you guys will feel good.
Rise over the sky. Here we go. Set your standards high. Here we go. Hold your heads high. Here we go. Here we go. Sky is so high. Here we go. Don't know how to fly.